Okay, you legends and super legends, I'm going to meet Team RR. I just crossed Woodlands Parkway and John Cooper. It's about 6:36. My buddy is out of town today, so I'm gonna try to catch up with Team RR and get some clips for you. I'm gonna just sit on the back. Today I was gonna take a time off, but I decided to do this, so we're gonna have something for you all.
On this ride, Paul left Northampton, rolled into the Woodlands. He was a bit early, and you'll see from the clips once he got there, nobody there. Once it took out, they went straight out to 1488 west, went into Mount Magnolia there, 149 past Karen. They rolled to Jackson. They discussed the route you'll see in the clips. They went past Bobville. Paul filmed until they got out to Jackson area. But they went into Dacres, and I believe Paul kept going because I think they stopped at what they call Jorge's place. You can see where he came back on 149 after going through the forest into Montgomery. And it looked like he must have hit Taco Corner there and came back on 2854 into Honier, Leah Drive. It looked like Fish Creek, back into town. I think he did close to almost 6 hours, I think. But you would like the clips that he got. It was kind of nice of him to do this for the channel.
I am at Crust Pizza right here. It's about 6:48. No one has shown up yet. I left home about 6:13, thereabout. And I got here about 6:47. But no one is here yet, so I'm gonna wait and see who shows up first. As you can see, I'm all alone, ready for the ride.
I'm gonna stick with you guys to the end of research, hopefully, and then you guys go whatever way you want to go. I'm gonna go straight out to Taco, but I'm gonna be this is the first time.
Mark's making excuses again.
For me, so.
That's what it is every time. Is it fresh legs? That's what it is every time. Is it fresh legs? Is what I'm.
You get that? I did that. I did that replay on purpose. I don't know who said that, but I think it was James. He said that's what it is every time you ride. Every time he rides, he hasn't ridden for 3 weeks. Who gives a crap? Ride by yourself. When you get in shape, then show up for the ride. Nobody want to hear that nonsense.
I pass the same Christmas, so I hope I'm done because I'm going to Spain next week.
So now it's 6:56. So at least they're not late yet. They're talking about different places that they're going to be going or whatever else. That's Mike S5 that just got there. It's like these are the same guys that cry about, oh, it's too cold. 3 months ago it was too cold. Now I haven't ridden in 3 weeks. A little bit he would start talking about he was sick with COVID. Come to the ride and just ride.
Hallelujah.
Here comes Pastor Abby.
I recall that statement.
Yeah. I saw that. I said, well, I thought I copyrighted that. I thought that was mine.
I'm your associate this morning. He's going to ride down to the end of research with you guys. I'm going to go to Taco very slow.
He's telling everybody how slow he's going to go to Taco. Nobody needs to hear that. I mean, just break off from the group. Why you got to tell everybody I'm going to Taco very slow? Big deal.
And then
Nice, decent.
wait before you get
Yeah.
Is Elder coming?
No.
If Elder were coming, he'd be standing in front of you. You notice Paul didn't tell him anything. He just said no.
Yes.
The people who are coming are standing in front of you. So wrap it up and go. That's Champoussin. Jorge's is in Dacres.
You might want to explain that to Michael. Because
Yeah, the first I've heard of that one.
Yeah. So if we go 1488 to 149. all the way to the end.
They're discussing a route, of course.
Take a right on 1486.
1486.
All right, now you lost me. I'll just
You know
follow.
where Mount Moriah is?
No.
Yeah. Oh, that's
How many
miles is that, Mark?
Yeah, you will like
How many miles?
He knows what Mount Moriah is. He just doesn't know it's called Mount Moriah.
By the way,
That's all it
you
is.
guys
He's
go
been
that
there.
way because I heard that it's at that real sharp curve. Yeah. I heard that Johnson Road has been repaved.
Holy crap.
Johnson Road is the road that starts at Jorge's.
Yeah.
That we go over those
Only
railroad
some of it.
tracks.
I
and-
rode it
Yeah,
2 days ago.
Did you?
Yeah, only like the easternmost mile or two.
Part of it?
But it's wasn't bad before. It was nice now.
So it's almost, take a right on 1097. It's almost 70 from here.
70?
But it's a beautiful ride.
Yeah, let's do it.
Come with us, Mark.
Okay, all right.
We'll just go slow.
Hey, Rick,
Now somebody
I'll go-
said,
I'll
"Come
go
with us,
slow,
Mark.
but
We're gonna go
I'll-
slow."
you guys
Don't
still
you
have my way.
believe that?
I may go out that way.
What's up,
when we
Rick?
start.
How you doing? Good, good.
Now you're gonna hear Abby say, "You just have to tell John and Mike." Abby's always giving other people credit for stuff that he does. He's the sneaky one that's always lifting the pace and doesn't want to wait for people when they fall off the pace. You'll hear him. He's phony. Phony people don't do much for me. Yeah, listen.
Just tell John and Mike. And
Just
then
tell John and Mike. He's telling you because he knows what you do. Anyway, to the ride. Yeah, all that drama is unnecessary. If you're out of shape and you show up at a ride, just ride. Sit in. You don't need to tell anybody anything. When you decide to let them go, you let them go. It's not a job. You're out to ride your bike. Nobody cares what's going on. Just get in there, ride. As long as you want to stay with the group, stay with the group. When you're ready, you break off. That's the norm. Don't feel the need to go around explaining yourself to people who don't really care. Whatever's going on with you, that's your affair. Unless you tight with somebody, you don't need to be giving them all these details. I've been off the bike, I've been there. Well, nobody cares. When you're riding, they'll know if you're in shape or not. And when you decide, you have a plan. You go with the group. If you're using them to get yourself, like to test yourself, you use them for as long as you want to test yourself. When you reach the point where you've had enough, you just let them go. You tell them, don't wait for me or whatever. Most groups don't care. A lot of open rides, nobody cares. They don't even know you're there or you've gone. So don't feel the need to do all of that. It's not necessary. And that's what you heard James said. That's the way. That's what's going on every time you ride. Something like that. Every time you ride, something else is going on. Look at this other genius going through the red light. What's the point of going through the red light slowly? You're still breaking the law. So don't do that. I mean, as much as these guys ride, the stuff that they do sometimes just blows my mind. Your mates are stopped at the light. You casually roll through the intersection. So resist the urge to do all that storytelling. Unless somebody comes to you that you're close to and asks you, keep it to yourself. Stay with the group as long as you choose to and let them go whenever you feel like it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares why you got dropped. That's your affair. If you're riding with a group like this that are concerned about where you are or whatever, just let them know, hey, bye. Thanks for the ride. So they know that you've broken off. That's all. The backstories aren't necessary. And then, they invite him to ride, talking about we're going to go very slowly. They don't know how to ride slowly. They ride till their legs quit. Then they crawl back home. They don't know how to pace themselves. That's the thing about this group. But that's what gives it its character. This group is not very disciplined in keeping a plan. You guys know that have been following. They see another group, they jump like a rabbit to chase it down. So don't fall for that. That's why we roll with them for as long as they suit our needs, and then we roll off when they stop. They stop too much sometimes, so we don't stop with them. That's another group up there turning. That might be WCC. And these guys are going to roll the red light again. I don't do that. When I'm riding with them, I don't roll no red lights. They can go through, I'll wait for the light to change. Got to set the proper example. You want to be respected on the road, then you need to follow the rules of the road. I'm not sure why they ride like this. They need to be 2 abreast in this lane. There's no point in straddling the white line and some of them on the shoulder, some of them overtake the lane. You can ride 2 abreast, that's your lane. I don't ride over there when there's a bunch of us like that. There's no point to it. If I'm riding solo and the road's busy, I'll ride on the shoulder. But I'm either going to use the shoulder or I'm going to use the lane. Not both. They should be on the road like you see up front. That's Abby and I think Robert. This whole group should be in the lane like that. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they're even aware of it. So yeah, not everybody that and look at this other genius. I don't even know who that is. So when you hear a cyclist got hit, get the details, because some of them do some dumb things. He's riding in the left lane, opposing traffic on a boulevard. This is a separated boulevard. On the other side is where he needs to be. Amazing. So just because people ride bikes don't mean they understand the sport. Not everyone is a student of the sport. In fact, a very small percentage of cyclists understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. And those are the ones that you will see at the front or on the podiums at the events and so forth, because they know what they're doing. They're not riding endlessly hoping to get in shape. They maximize the time that they invest in the sport. You don't need to ride 30 hours a week to be fit. You can probably do it with 7 to 10, depending on the level you're training at. So don't fall for that. The people who are riding 500 miles a week, I mean nothing. They got more time to waste, that's what it is. They got too much going on to be riding 500 miles every week. 500 miles a week is too much anyway, even for a pro. And this comes from the guys at the top. In Greg LeMond's book, he specifically said that. So you find what works for you to get you in top condition, and you maximize those hours that you choose to invest in the sport. You need to have a full life, not just be on the bike all the time. You got to have time to maintain the bike. A lot of them just ride and break down out there because they're not spending time making sure the machine's in top condition. Although the people who are riding a lot are aware because they've probably had enough mishaps, so they realize, oh, I got to make sure I stay on top of things. And so usually people who ride a lot keep their bike in working condition, or you're not going to be riding.
When I did it before, I was.
So this is the warm-up. Everybody's chatting. You can hear the chatter.
It's not a problem anymore.
I mean, I was over there.
This is Egypt Lane. Usually they will go right if they were going Fish Creek. Today, as they discussed, they're going west on 1488, and they're going to go on 149 in the Diggers. This other guy here, you hear him talking to Paul in a little bit about crap that is none of his concern. Here he goes. He's on the left.
Ride on that thing?
No, some parts, not all.
How long can it record? Like a couple hours?
Yeah, I have a backup battery. Whenever it runs out, I just
Oh, it's
switch
the
it.
battery that dies first?
Yeah.
He's going to ask this question 3 times.
As long as you put a new battery in it, it keeps going?
Yep.
That's number 2.
That's cool.
Then he's going to say, you're not going to run out of memory tape? That's number 3. The same question.
You don't run out of memory tape?
The what?
You don't run out of memory tape?
Nah.
It's all digital.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as memory tape. So he asked the same questions in different variations 3 freaking times. He's lucky he was talking to Paul. I don't have those kind of conversations. I'm not wired that way. If you're slow, that's your problem. When I give you the answer, I'm done. You want a different answer, you better ask a different question or ask somebody else. You know? So anyway, they stop at this light, and it's a long light, so we do a time lapse here. You ask the same question 3 different ways, like that's supposed to do what? Somebody gave you information, accept it, and move on. So to go across 2978, this is the same road to the right. It's called Fish Creek Boulevard, but they're going west. So they're cutting through this neighborhood that will take them to 1488 and a road called Tamina Boulevard. So as Paul explained in the prologue, he said that his plan was to just sit in today. Look at the gap. So he's riding around the ride to these guys. They all left the light together, and there's a huge gap here. So if these guys start to go harder, you got to fill that gap. And you got to work even harder. So just stay close. So riding with the group is not complicated. It's really just a lot of common sense. Don't feel the urge to have meaningless conversations, not just on the bike, but just in general in life. If you really want to know something, then you ask. Don't just talk just to be talking. People can sniff that out. Be yourself. If you're phony, that's your issue, but people are going to spot that too. You know, I don't waste my time with people who are having shallow conversation. I don't have time for that. I'm what you call WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. There's no pretension going on. That takes too much energy. This is not Hollywood. It's real life. Just be yourself. As Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. When you're genuine, people can see it clearly. If you feel the need to say something, then you say it. If you got nothing to say, just say hi or just be quiet. You don't have to talk unnecessarily. But whatever you say, you need to mean it. Then people will listen. So you're not gonna like everybody on the bike, just like in real life. Just because somebody's a cyclist doesn't mean you'll like them. So, a lot of times when I'm riding solo, I put my shades on and I just ride. Because where we ride, we come across other cyclists going the other way or whatever. And they act like because they're on a bike, you're supposed to wave to them. You're not required to wave to anybody you don't want to wave to. You know, not a requirement. I put my head down when I'm doing my workout. That's my focus. I'm not going out to socialize. It's a nice shot here. I'm going out to ride my bike and get a workout and get on with my day. You know, so always know you have a focus. When you get out there, you can maximize your cycling time. And it doesn't mean that you're riding hard necessarily. I have rides where my focus is to just go and sightsee. It doesn't mean I want to ride with somebody else that I don't know because they happen to be on a bike. I have actually told a guy that came up on me a while back on an easy ride, can I tag along? I told him, no, I'm doing something by myself today. So you go on, have a good ride. I don't know you. The hell I want to hang out with you for because you're riding a bike? Sometimes you want to be by yourself. That's why the bicycle has one seat on it. The best riders in the world do their best work solo. This is Tamina Boulevard.
Clear.
And that's going to take them to 1488, right there, about probably 150 meters. I'm not sure how long they waited here on this light. As I do the narration, I'm seeing these clips fresh. I don't review the clips before I narrate. So all my reactions are natural. I see them for the first time, just like you're seeing them as I narrate. Green up. They got the green light. Turn left, FM 1488. Westbound. Heading towards the city of Magnolia, Texas. In Montgomery County. There's Mark getting dropped right here.
Hey,
This is where reality sets in.
That's what happens when you don't train consistently. You struggle. Like I said before, you eat every day, get your butt out there every day. Just sitting around waiting till you have health problems. Do something. Swim, run, walk, doesn't matter. Move your body. Stay active. The human body is a machine, and it must be used. So I took a week off the bike completely. I was too busy with logistics and other things. I just decided hang it up for a week. So starting today after the narration, I will do an indoor spin maybe, and then get back into some kind of a regimen. So the weekend after this, I'm just gonna take it easy. Let my body get back into the swing of things. So when you know how to train, or if you have a good training program, you don't worry about time off. You're not gonna lose that much fitness for taking a little bit of time off. It's good for you actually. We ride so much that I don't give it much thought. When I say get back into the swing of things, it's kind of like you oil something, give the lubrication a chance to do its job. So I've been off about a week, give my body a chance to feel like itself again before I really go hard. These are the guys that said they were going to go slow. They're not going slow. Because you can see the wind whipping this guy's jersey. It's not so bad, but they're moving. 37K, that's about 23 to 24 miles an hour. 23 miles an hour, they're moving. So in a group ride, not everybody finishes the whole ride with the group. People got different plans that they're adhering to, or they have different routes they want to do and they move around. That's Mr. Conversation on the right there, moving up. He's one of those that don't last with the group. It's a flash in the pan. So you need to identify those people when you ride with the group, and don't follow their moves. Don't waste your energy. They can't sustain it. If it's a rider that's doing something they can't sustain, there's no point in you wasting your energy, because you know you're all reeling back. I'm not sure why they invited Mark to say, come and we'll go slow. You shouldn't have bother saying that. You should tell Mark, we're not slowing down for you. So he needs to keep his butt in shape. This is his group and he can't keep up with them. Get your butt in shape. Yeah, this is how slow they were going to go. 44 kilometers an hour. We're going to go slow. Right. Please. These are the same guys that will wait for people after they get dropped and then go just as hard as they went when the people got dropped the first time. That's what I mean when I say people ride, but they don't understand cycling. If you're going to wait for somebody, then you make a change. Otherwise, just keep riding. And then they can form their own group behind you. The guy on the right, he's doing something he can't sustain either. I'm not sure why he's out there in the wind at this pace. They'll do stuff like that and they get dropped. So you don't wait for them. People that do foolishness and get dropped, you leave them behind. Well, he's trying to prove sitting out in the wind, please. Because when it really is time to ride, he won't be anywhere there. He'll have nothing left. You want to move up in the group, there are ways to move up where you save energy. You don't go put yourself in the wind just to move up a few places. Somebody's overreacting to something. That's why you see all these hiccups. Should be much smoother than they appear right here. Right now it's not so bad, but when you have to react like that, yeah. They got a good line going. Just do predictable stuff. But not everybody has the group riding skills required to keep things nice and smooth. And so you have to coexist with them. That's why you got to be always alert in the group. It's not the time to be focusing on other things. Focus on the wheel in front of you and all the other wheels around you, and look ahead and see what's coming, what's up the road. That guy's still sitting in the wind. I guess nobody let him in. At some point he's gonna have to go in or you get dropped. At this point, I'm sure Mark has been dropped. Because as soon as they turn, he was talking about reality setting in. Yeah, the reality is you want to go fast on a bicycle, you got to be fit. You want to go fast as a runner, you got to be fit. You want to go fast as a swimmer, you got to be fit. You can't sit on the couch and be fast. Not going to happen. This road goes up here. You can see it visibly. I don't know if it'll register enough, but it's like a slight grade. There we go. It says 1% or something. But you feel it. At these speeds, you feel it. Plus, you're not riding for right here. You're riding for what's to come. There's a long overpass that gets to about 3% or so. And depending on how they ride it, you got to have something saved up if you want to stay with the top riders. They're slowing down. Whoever is up at the front is slowing down. Somebody pulled off, it looked like, but they're slowing down. Remember, Paul started to ride. This is like 15, 20 minutes into the ride. It's so early in the ride when you ride with groups. Avoid working too hard early in the ride. They're going to be riding more than 3 hours, let's say. Wait for the third hour. That's when you really should be going home. Early in the ride, just hang on. Just hang and see what's happening or whatever. There's no point in going hard when everybody's fresh. Wait until it really gets hard. Any slight change when it's really hard makes a big difference. Bigger differences when people are tired. So a lot of times when you take time off the bike, don't go jump right back into your routine. Ride by yourself until you feel like you want to hook up with a group. It's your choice. That's why I was commenting about Mark's explanations to everybody that showed up. You don't need to explain anything to anyone. You're a grown man. You're riding your bike. Whatever your reason is, keep it to yourself. Just ride. Whatever you don't want to ride with them anymore, you turn off or let them go. Nobody cares. It's not a bike race. You didn't pay to come to the group ride. It's just a ride. And even bike races, racers use certain races for training. That don't mean nothing to them. So who cares? They have their objectives. They need to know that. They're their coach. They don't go at telling every racer, oh, this race is not important to me. You don't need to tell your competitors as a racer what the race means to you. That's your part of your training program. They don't need to know that. You don't owe anybody any explanations. Go to the ride, say good morning, and ride your bike. Because the people who are doing all that explaining, riders that are in the know just scoff at it and chuckle. Like, please. That's why you heard what James said. He said that's the way it is every time you ride. Every time he rides, it's been off for 2 to 3 weeks. So when do you ever ride? If you're always off 2 to 3 weeks. Are you riding 1 week out of every month? And that's your training program. That's fine. You know, like, please. That's how you know the story doesn't hold water. If it doesn't make sense, there's a reason. I'm not sure if they're riding 2 abreast or a single pace line. You got 4 guys here 2 abreast and the rest of them in a single pace line up front. I mean, come on. It's not the most efficient way to ride at these speeds. You can see Paul hasn't moved, just sitting behind John here. Clement Champoussin. When I ride with a group, I'm usually just sitting in, chilling, looking around because I do my harder work alone. I prefer to ride my hardest solo so that when I do go hard in a group, it's not my max. That's just, you know. Because if you go very hard in a group, you end up riding alone anyway. So what's the point? Ride with people, ride with people. So this guy did all that work, went to the front, now he's drifting back. I'm not sure what that accomplished. Go figure. He should have just stayed where he was. He did all that work to get up there. You should have stayed up there. I mean, what's the point of doing the work to go up there and then drift to the back? That's what I mean. No plan. There's Mr. Memory Tape. Look at Mr. Memory Tape getting dropped right here. Mr. Memory Tape killed himself early in the ride. This is what I'm talking about all the time. I was not on this ride, guys. Paul and I did not go through no blow by blow. I'm just watching the clips. And that's what happens when I'm riding or when you're riding. You just see things happen. He goes to the front early after all that chatter, sits up there, lifts the pace. Now he's getting dropped. And they have not hit the hard hill yet. What I call hill, it's like an overpass for this area. So he went hard when the road was flat and the ride was easy. And now that things are they're just beginning to start riding now. And boom, he's off the back. It's not easy at the back. In fact, when we used to compete and we see people doing that, that's when we force the pace at the front to stretch the elastic and break it. Because if you go into the back because you're struggling and I start going hard at the front, you got to work twice as hard. That's a good shot there. Now, how did I know that guy was getting dropped? Well, he didn't pull off. Had he pulled off, he would have gotten out of the line. He was getting passed because he couldn't hold the pace. He couldn't maintain his position in the line. And, you know, sometimes you slip back, but that little incline, no. What was happening was he did not have the legs. That's the bottom line. He wasn't going to the back by choice. He was going to the back because he couldn't stay where he was. So when you get to a group, take your time during the warm-up and whatever, assess the situation, save your little fires, because you might need it. The human body has a finite amount of energy. All those guys that Paul turned the camera around to film, they're going to the back because, yeah, it's fast up here. And the thing is that they know, well, pretty soon I'm going to have to quit. And they don't want to be in the way. Because back there it's not easier than just holding your position up here. You're back there, you're reacting after the fact. A lot of these guys did not finish the ride with the group. This guy in front of the guy in the yellow jersey, yellow and green, he actually posted on the board. I hope at some point, I'm paraphrasing, I hope at some point I'll be able to do the whole ride. And why is that necessary? That's the stuff you keep in your head. And get your butt on your bike and go train so you can be able to do that. When you're announcing to everybody that I hope at some point I'll be able to keep up with the group, what does that do for you? What does that do for anybody? Nobody cares. You can't keep up with the group because you haven't done the work to be at the level to keep up with them the whole time, the whole ride. And even with that knowledge, they still don't know how to just sit in and save their energy so they can keep up with the group. They feel the urge to go to the front to show off. Now, these are the guys that are going to go slow. They're already riding off the front here. These guys can't keep up. And Paul's caught behind them here. And that's what happens. Now look at the gap he's going to have to close. So a lot of times I wouldn't spend too much energy to close the gap for two reasons. They're going to go over the overpass, go down, and then stop at a light and regroup. So don't waste your energy. Just keep riding. And that's probably what Paul is doing. There's a reason he's the only one here. No one else wants to come and take up the work. Because if they could, they would have been on the wheels right there. They just sat and watched the wheels ride away. And that was John who was telling Mark that, oh, we're going to go slow. Come with us. He forgot that he told Mark that. That's why I said, don't you believe it? Please. They don't know how to keep a group together. Because if you're going to invite people to come with you because you're going to go slow, then you got to mean what you said. So why say what you don't mean in any walk of life? That is just so lame. Just talk to be talking. I don't personally believe that the group should slow down for anyone. So I don't want that to come across like that's what I mean. But I'm just saying that don't tell a rider you're going to ride slow if you're not. What I would tell a rider is you better draft very well since you're out of shape. Instead of going to, and some of these guys will come and they're out of shape. They want to take pulls. So somebody can say, great pull, monster pull, then boom, they get dropped. You're out of shape, you sit your butt in the draft, and you draft. You stay tight on the wheels. That's how you hang. until you have to let them go. You don't put your nose in the wind. Makes no sense. This is coming up at 149. This is a Highway 149. We're in Magnolia, Texas. They're gonna go left, which is north. They're headed east right now. Beautiful sky. So that's why you don't waste your energy. The light here, so, and that's okay if you were riding with the front guy. That's John who told Mark that we're gonna go slow. So why even tell somebody that? Yeah, I wasn't raised like that. You need to always say what you mean. Otherwise, just be quiet.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop back and wait for Mark.
Yeah, that's Rick. He's gonna drop back and wait for Mark. Please, you ain't waiting for Mark. You dropping back because the pace here is hard. You and Mark didn't make no appointment. Drop back and wait for Mark. Right. You don't need to say anything. If you wanted to wait for Mark, you would have been riding with Mark.
Go back, Paul. He's not in.
Huh? I got
Far
it.
back, yeah.
All right.
You can tell they're all riding over their heads. They ain't going that fast for them to be straining like that. Just look at these guys like, please. If you know you haven't done the work, you really have to stay tight. And there's nothing wrong with forming a group B. There's no point in you riding way over your head to where your form deteriorates. You don't improve that way. You're teaching your body the wrong thing. You got to gradually get up there. There are easier ways to get fit than to kill your legs. So on terrain like this, where the road is flat, few bumps, this is where you drink, you eat, you relax. Save your energy for when the group will be working hard. Right here is a little bit of a grade, not much, but you got to push if you want to stay with the group when you hit these little stretches. They're heading towards Karen. 149 north. The gear that Austin is in is very big. He's having trouble really staying on top of it per se. That can wear out your legs. I edited for time through here. Because, you know, they're just in a pace line moving along. You see Paul is staying close. You want to sit in, you got to stay close. That's how you save your energy. If you leave too many gaps, you're working harder. Then it defeats the purpose of being in a group. But sometimes you have to back off a little bit so your sight line can improve so you can see around the riders easier. You see how Paul is sitting a little to the left. You see Austin is working very hard. That gear he's in, he's having to work to keep it rolling. And that's why you need to keep your cadence up. It helps you keep up with the changes in pace. They go by Karen here. You look at Austin using his shoulders. That's how you can tell when somebody's really digging. You see how Paul is on the left and then Logan's a little to the right, a few riders up. That gives you more visibility. They're approaching the intersection with 149 here. They're gonna go straight where the road becomes Jackson Road. 149 continues to the right.
Car back.
A lot of those guys moved over. I never saw anybody look behind to make sure the lane was clear, but they moved over. Just because a rider in front of you moves over into traffic doesn't mean it's safe for you, especially if you're behind him. What if there's a car and it's closer to you than it is to him? You always got to look, because most of these guys don't have mirrors on their bikes. So when they don't look behind, they're not paying attention. They just feel more comfortable because somebody else up front moved up. That makes no sense. You got to keep your eyes up. Make sure there's no traffic before you move over. Be predictable. I think it was Mike Barrera that was pulling. Whenever Abby pulls off, he doesn't pull off because he's been pulling. He doesn't pull. And so he's probably just going to the back to sit there like he usually does. He's always setting up rides during the week. I never ride with him. I can't stomach him more than 30 minutes, if that. He rides a lot, but he's learning very little. So Mike Barrera pulled off. He's been pulling. Paul's going to let him slide in front of him.
Get in.
The surface of this road has improved in recent years. It used to be all chippy and cracked with a lot of patina. They laid down nice pavement and it has held up fairly well. This part of Jackson is relatively flat. A couple of blips, but as they approach the end of it, it will kick up more. The line is fairly tight. Mike shifts up to harder gear. He stands to kind of stretch his legs. In a little bit, they will get to a nice little bump, and you'll see shampoo signs coming off the front right here before the climb comes in. But when the climb kicks in, he will come back and raise the pace. He likes going faster on these climbs. He doesn't have to put out that many watts. He's not carrying that many kilos. So if you're a big guy, you wait till the terrain suits you, and then you make them work. I edit for time here, so this is right before the first climb on Jackson. And as they begin the climb, John goes, the guy we call Clément Champoussin from the AG2R Citroën La Mondiale team. Mike Barrera looks around to see if anybody else was going to go with him. It's not really an attack. He's just riding, I should say. And he went to the front. It looked like he just gave whoever was in front a wheel. Yeah, that's what it looks like. But that lifts the pace just a tad.
Come back.
This climb is usually, I think it's around 2.5%, 3% at the steepest. Then it will level off, and there's a final bump before they get to 1486. It's still going up a little bit, kind of like a ninja grade. And right there where you see the little horizon of the road, it will go down and go left, and it kicks back up. Beautiful out here. I like this road. So there goes a slight downhill, and then we'll kick up. Not as long as the one that just finished, but slightly steeper, I think. So I don't know what you guys did this weekend. I was off the bike all week, including this ride. This is Paul's ride from Saturday. But you can see, you got to keep getting your Ks and keep the doctor's 5. And we end the clips here as they approach 1486. So remember, stay busy, keep your body moving, and no excuses. Keep those doctors 5.